Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Solavei National Training Webinar. My name is Staci Wallace, and it is my honor and privilege to welcome you tonight to a very special training webinar, Show Me the Money. Now, I know today I've gotten a number of emails and texts. Staci, what is this tonight? Are you going to talk about the compensation plan? What do you mean, show me the money? Well, if you've ever seen the movie Jerry Maguire, then you know that there comes a time and a place where people want to know, where's the Quan? So tonight, we are going to talk about Show Me the Money from the perspective, not necessarily of the compensation plan, but once you are involved with Solavei, how can you determine, decipher, and understand how you are getting paid? So what we're going to do before we pop into that, I want to talk about a couple things that I like to talk about on each training webinar, just to bring us into perspective of really who we are as a company and what our values are going forward. You know, one of the things that I love most about the network that's developing throughout the whole of Solavei is it's people that value connection. Solavei started that with one of the three core tenets. We value connection. We believe our relationships are our most valuable asset. I know just recently when we launched Puerto Rico, we really saw the value of that. Puerto Rico is obviously very honored and prideful about the relationships that they've developed. You know, another thing that we value is goodwill, being able to do good for others. It's really what matters most, not only to us here at corporate, but I think we've seen that overall as a nation, that people love being a part of a cause, of a mission. And then, of course, we value initiative. We really do believe that great results require us to take ownership and to take action. Now, you could have any one of those three things, or even any two. You could have a really good heart to do good for the world, and you could be willing to take action, but if you don't have connections, if you don't have an ability to connect with people, you're probably going to have some struggles. You know, you could have great connections, friends, and a heart to do good, but if you're not willing to get out there and take initiative, then again, you're going to struggle. So always when we talk about Solavei, it's a very unique value proposition in an industry that is of its own. It's never been done before what we're doing, and certainly the future of Solavei is uncharted territories. So it's important for us all to maintain the perspective that where we are going are based on these three things, and certainly Solavei is keeping it simple. For those of you who are with us for the first time, just to let you know what Solavei is, I'm sure you probably already watched the video, or maybe you've tapped into some tools or information online. But Solavei is basically a social commerce network. Well, that term is a unique message in and of itself, meaning we're very much a social network. And when you see what we're going to show you tonight, we're going to show you some back office tools and reporting systems. But we're also a commerce network, meaning that we're really with a passion to drive down the cost of commerce and even make it profitable for our members. So Solavei is a social commerce network that provides a unique income-generating opportunity for members through its nationwide 4G mobile service. We offer $49 a month, unlimited voice, text, and data nationwide. It's an incredible mobile service, but here's what's even better, is no contracts, meaning no credit checks. That's an incredible value proposition to help really everyone that you know, over 300 million mobile subscribers in the U.S. alone right now. Now, what we've done is we've merged that with an incredible social platform. Many of you are familiar with social media, whether it's Google Plus or Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. What we've done is we've created, really, if you wanted to think about it, we've created like a merge between Facebook and Twitter, merging with a company like T-Mobile. In fact, that's a partnership that we have with T-Mobile to provide quality and excellent mobile service. Only we're what's called an MVNO. We are actually a provider, not a reseller of that, which gives us an opportunity to drive down the cost of mobile, making it not only a great savings, but even to be able to make it profitable for our members as they share. And that's what's exciting. When you just share with three people, you're going to see that something we have called a trio really makes our purple pay cards light up. And we do all that through a social platform on our phones that we are going to see a little bit of that tonight. Now, the future of Solavei obviously goes well beyond mobile services when we talk about moving into things like cable or energy, various financial services. We certainly believe that the future of Solavei is bright. We're very excited that tonight that you are a part. If this is your first time, we encourage you, get with the person that encouraged you to be on this training webinar, and go ahead and enroll, get started, so that what I'm about to show you begins to affect you tremendously from a financial perspective. I'm very excited tonight to welcome to this webinar Maria Pinchevsky, who is actually head of member experience. She's just an incredible asset to those of us who are in the field building the social network. And tonight, something happened. First off, Maria, welcome to the webinar.
Thank you, Staci. It's great to be here.
We're actually sitting here in the office together, so we're going to go through this presentation in a live format. So instead of trying to tell you where to go, we're going to show you on these slides exactly how the process of navigating your money really looks. And what happened yesterday is Maria and I were talking about some of the calls that have been coming into the call center, and I've been getting personally through our network, and calls about people saying, well, look, it shows that I've got this many trios, but I'm getting only paid this. And you sat down and walked me through this, and I giggled. I said, oh my goodness, we've got to make this the training tomorrow night, because it was such an eye-opener for me. And I know if it's an eye-opener for me, it's probably going to be an eye-opener for other people as well. So Maria, welcome. And
thank you. It's always great to be here, and it's good to be here in person with you.
Yes, well, you were kind of celebrating the snow a minute ago. Before we turned the webinar on, she goes, come here, look at that, it's heavenly. We've gotten snow here in the mountains, so it is very beautiful. And I've got my big fuzzy boots on inside here. Okay, so what we're going to do is talk about getting inside. For somebody that's wanting to know, and this is my statement to you, Maria, show me the money. Show me, how am I getting paid? What do these trios mean? How do I get my billing statements? How do I get my phone bill statements, my account statements? And that's what you're getting ready to walk us through. So the first thing they need to do is what?
It's sign in. So you want to go into my.solavei.com, or you can go to solavei.com and hit login. So there's a couple different ways that you can get there. But the first thing you want to do is log in, put your username and your password in there, and you'll go to the front page, which is this one that you're seeing here in front of you. So the first thing that comes out is your dashboard. It has a community feed on the left, and then once you finish your FAB, this dashboard on the right will actually come up. So if you've already completed your FAB, your screen's actually changed, and you actually can see my network.
Okay, so after their FAB, this comes up here.
That's correct.
Okay, until that, it's saying, go ahead and get 3 more people.
That's right. It's motivating you to say, hey, you know what? You got 9, you got 3 more, and you get another $300 if you get 3 more to get your final 12, right? Because we really want to make sure that you see your FAB clock and ensure that you know how much money is on the table for that next trio.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk about this, because right here we're talking trios. I see 12 trios, 3 personal network trios, and Jimmy Jam here. We're going to look at Jimmy Jam's account and kind of take a look at what that could possibly mean to him financially. Now, many of you are aware already, this is the outreach manager. It's a little different than, you know, when you go in here and you click on network, you're going to actually come in here, and if you were to click my network, you would go to where we're going to actually be going here in a minute. Outreach manager is how they go out and invite people. So we're going to go into my network, and that brings us to this location here. So tell me what we're seeing here.
So this really is just a summary of your network. So you can see on Jimmy Jam's here, you can see how many personal connections they have. So that means directly to him, how many they have under them, and then the rest of the extended network. How many people does Jimmy Jam have in his extended network? And here you can see he has 577. And then it has a great way of here seeing, you know, here's your FAB connections, and Jimmy Jam has 1 trio. You could also click on the one away, the personal network, and the rest of the network. The biggest thing here, though, is that Jimmy Jam has 602 total connections. And the first thing, and sometimes the most confusion that comes to me, Staci and the team, is, okay, I have 602. That means if you divide by 3, I have 200 trios. And as you saw from the first one there, Jimmy Jam really doesn't have 200 trios. He only has a few. And we're going to walk through a little bit of how you actually have some visibility into that in a second. So if you click on Accounts up on the top right-hand side, and then you click on Earnings, you can actually see that this is, so far, what Jimmy Jam's been paid. So he has 3 total trios that have now had the 30 days of anniversary. He hasn't had any pass pay yet. And then he has, he achieved one trio in his fab, so he got $50 of a bonus. So far this year, Jimmy Jam's been paid $110 on his pay cards.
Okay, so let's just stop right there for a second. Let me just drive back up here for a second, because I do believe this is where some of the questions have come in. So Jimmy Jam has 602 connections.
Yes.
He's been working his tail off.
He sure has.
And his team has. Now, he's got 4 personal connections, level 1. He's gotten, that means 1 trio, right?
Yeah, he still has work to do.
He does have work to do. He actually has a team that's been growing on his behalf. But nonetheless, it became 602 connections. Mm-hmm. So I know some folks have been looking at their overall network, and they're really excited, because just like Jimmy Jam here, really excited that they've gotten these big numbers in their overall network. And then maybe they actually get paid, and they're going, well, wait a minute, 110, why is that? So let's just go back up here, because this is actually based on overall network connections. It's not based on trios, and it's not based on trios that have matured, so that when we look at something like this, you come back here, well, 12 total trios out of 600 people?
Yeah.
Explain to me how that happens.
Yeah, and so what happens is that it depends on when they activated, right? When they enrolled, when they activated, and then when their anniversary date is. And the thing is that you also have to remember that when you see your dashboard here, it's real time. And your payment is based on a month, between the 1st and the 15th, or the 16th and the end of the month. So the timing could be off from an earnings perspective and what you're seeing in your dashboard. So it's always really important, and we'll go through in a second what the actual statement looks like, but it's really important that you always go in so that you can have an understanding of, okay, got it. This is the activity of the anniversaries that made trios during this part of the month that I just got paid for.
Okay, so this is an actual fictitious account that we're using.
Yes.
But let me just, personally, so some folks have said, wow, I thought I would be getting paid a lot more. So I think I just popped 14,000. So I say, let's say I hypothetically have 1,000 trios. That would seem a little off, unless I didn't know the seasoning of the trios.
Right.
So, for example, our last pay, which was October 12th, right? That's when our first pay came out. That pay only paid out on August 22nd to August 30th, was it? 31st. So that little 8 to 9 day window is what that was paid on. It wasn't paid on whoever activated in that window. So it wasn't, oh, well, you get paid on all those numbers you see in your dashboard here. So when I go here and I see these numbers, it's actually, you've got to go by the activation date. Now, we're going to look at some statements here in a second to show that and how that works out, because that was a real relief to me. I thought you guys had messed up.
Yeah.
I really did. I was like, okay, something's not right. But then I realized, okay, wait a minute, that's right, because in those first 9 days, I didn't have a lot of people activated. It was hard to get people activated back in the first few weeks, couple weeks. So now we're looking at, over the course of the next 30 days and 60 days, those numbers are going to become a lot more balanced out and realistic. Now let's go.
And before you get off there, Staci, the little dollar sign next to people's names, do you know what that means?
Where?
Right here.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Now, what does that mean?
That means that they're still in their fab. They still have the opportunity to actually get their fab still.
So I could be calling them saying, hey, you're close to your fab, keep going, keep going.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a conversation starter.
Excellent. Okay, great. I love that. So these are my fab. This is Jimmy Jam's fab connections.
Yep.
Okay, excellent.
And 2 of them are actually still eligible for fab.
Okay, great. Okay, let's move into the earnings here. Now we're going to talk about the statement, because I want to know, again, who did I get paid for on that statement, that last statement? Who was activated in that window of time? So how do I do that?
So remember that the October 12th payment, and the statements, just as an FYI, the statements for this last pay period should be posted up by this evening. Or first thing in the morning, so you should see those very soon. But the October 12th, remember, is through September 30th. So what you would need to do is on that October, click the down arrow, and and September would show up.
And click September.
And then you would go to the second pay cycle. And then all of a sudden, miraculously, your statement comes out. And this is really good information because it provides you a lot of detail that's good to understand. At first, at the top, it tells you what the earnings period is. So it says 9/16 to 9/30. It also reminds you of when your end date for your fab is. So, Jimmy Jam only has one trio, so he wants to make sure that he gets 3 more before 11/21.
So is this Jimmy Jam's trio here?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's his only trio.
That's his trio,
mm-hmm.
Jane, Jack, and Jim.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you can actually see that during the last earnings summary, during that period, he actually didn't get paid anything.
Right here.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have anyone activated between the date of the 16th to the 30th. And none of us even, I was the first in the system, I came in on the 22nd.
Yep, so the anniversaries weren't actually being completed.
Okay.
So if you see over here on the right with his actual trio, they actually enrolled on 8/24.
Okay, so this is how we can see when they will mature.
Yes.
We can go in here and see that they came in at the 24th, he came in on the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what is this?
And then on the direct personal trios, this is really when you understand when the anniversary is. So you see how the trio number there is incomplete.
Uh-huh.
If those folks had been Johnny on the spot and actually activated before August 31st, they would have already matured, so their anniversary would have been there. And Jimmy Jam would have actually seen that would have completed the first trio, and it would have said completed trio number 1, and all 3 of those would have said number 1.
Okay, so this now, let me go back here. So this here tells me, because I see 10/02 is his anniversary of maturity.
Yes.
And I look up here, 8/24, that tells me he didn't activate until 30 days before this date.
9/2, yep.
So that's the window. So people can look here and go, oh, well, just because I enrolled them doesn't mean that they activated. And that's why, guys, when you guys hear us on these training webinars saying activate, 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 you want your people, and we've added it in now into the massive action plan, that it is a primary slide where we say, right now, get off this program and make sure your card is activated, because it really does make a difference in whoever that sponsor is in their ability to call that an anniversary date.
Yeah, it's just a good behavior to have all around.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you go to the next slide, I think, yep. So this is the rest of the statement. And what you can see here is this is the rest of the indirect personal trios. So as you can see, Jimmy Jam really hasn't had anybody that, except for, all of them actually have dates in October. So that's why you saw 3 trios actually come to life for him. He had the $60.
Right.
That was from this pay cycle. All of them are incomplete. But the great thing here is you could also see who hasn't activated yet.
Mm.
So you really want to call, Joelle here, Rexel, and you want to say, hey, how come you haven't activated? Do you need help? Is there anything that we can do to make that happen? From a Solavei office perspective, we're also sending out notices to all of our members that haven't activated, reminding them that until they activate, they're not able to earn.
So same with down here. This is just a continuance of that page, not activated. So what are we doing from a messaging perspective to know how to get a hold of these people? Is obviously these should be personal, so we should somewhat know them. But for some people who are running internet advertising, or maybe they're doing it through Facebook, is there going to be messaging to our personal network that's going to allow us to go in and say, hey, they're not activated, I'd like to. I know right now we can click and send them a message, right?
Right now you can. And then the great news is that there's going to be some updates to our My Solavei on Friday, and then there's another release in the next 2 weeks.
Right.
That is going to really allow us to communicate differently with our personal network.
So we'll see some changes tomorrow taking place that will also be able to do that as well. Okay, so these guys here that are saying 10/28, 11/04, are these guys are coming into maturity then, right?
Yeah. So imagine that between now and the 10/24 payment cycle, that the folks that actually were from 10/1 to 10/15, those started to mature, so they became trios. The folks that are after, so the 10/21 one there and the 10/28, 11/4, those won't become eligible until later on. So it really does make a difference on when, all of your members activate on when they become trios.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. Okay, so let's see what we have next. I want to make sure that we're getting it all. Okay, let's talk about billing and the phone payment.
Really important.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that, great, you activated, and, there's been a little bit of confusion from some of our members because, of course, we had You know, the second month's free. We've had a lot of different promotions, and folks are kind of scratching their heads saying, when is my bill due? What is going on? So if you go to account, the first thing that pops up is your service and billing, and it actually says current bill. If it were that if Jimmy Jam had a bill due, it actually would say there, pay now, bills due. If you have it on auto pay, your credit card comes out there. So it's really, you know, I always say, if you already started to make some money with Solavei and you got money on your pay card, just put your Solavei pay card information in there, and then you don't even have to worry about it because it's just going to automatically do it.
Right.
And we'll show you the bill in a second, but it's really important to understand, if you do not pay your bill, 5 days after the due date, it will actually go into suspend mode. When you are in suspend mode, you can't earn money. And I had one gentleman that I spoke to yesterday that he was in suspend mode, and on yesterday he didn't get a payment, and he didn't get his $300 for his last trio payment. So I said,
yikes.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you can actually pay for your $49 bill,
right?
And your on the next pay cycle you're going to get your $300. So why wouldn't you just put your pay card information in there and just get that done?
Right.
So not only can you not use your phone because you get hotline to us and you get to talk to us instead, but then you're not getting paid. So you want to make sure that you're just making that something that you don't even have to think about. Just put it on auto pay and get it out of your mind.
Right. And so obviously people then probably call you and say, but, and it's just, again, I think thinking on the scalability of millions of people, even right now, thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. It's real important that we as leaders message this. I think people are pretty good about understanding auto pay. They just can't take advantage of just because this is a company that's paying back, that they take advantage of that. It's just across the board, you got to pay your bills. And if you want to get paid, you got to pay your bills.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. Good. So if you go to the next one, I think we're going to show a copy. If you click on statements, this right here.
So this would be over here, view statements? Okay.
Yep. This picture is going to come up, and you can actually see that in August there wasn't a bill, but in September and October there were. And if you click on this little download button,
so even though this says $59.40, this says that you weren't charged.
Right, because it was the first month. So
okay.
This was, you pay your, remember when you enroll, you actually pay your first month in advance?
Right.
So that wasn't really a bill, it was already paid for in advance.
Got it.
September, for Jimmy Jam here, he actually, his bill cycle showed 0 because that was the second month was free. And now in October, he did get a bill. And if you click that little download button.
This one or this one?
The top one.
That one?
Yep.
Okay.
The bill actually comes up. And what you can see here, and it's pretty cool that you can say, okay, here's the bill period. It's October 29th through November 29th. Remember, we always pay in advance. It's $49 plus taxes. We got to pay Uncle Sam because if not, he'll come and, talk to us. And then it has all your information here. So, if we want, especially, if you need it for work or what have you, you have your bill statement here. You can print it. You can download it. It's always available. And you'll always have the history of all your statements as well. But if you want to know what you're paying for, this is a great place to look. And I know that there's also been a lot of questions that to me on, well, I'm getting charged $55.64, Maria, and Jimmy Jam's getting charged $59.44. What's the difference there? Every state has different taxes,
right?
And that's why we can't quote to you exactly how much your taxes are going to be, because the great state of New York and California are very different than Kansas,
right? Excellent. Okay, good. Just seeing if there's anything else we want to cover on that. I think that does it for the.
The great news here, Staci, is that your bill will never change, right? Unless the taxes change, the bill will never change. There's not going to be any, surprises on it. So if you put your auto pay, you could always have peace of mind that you're going to know it's never going to be more than $60. You got 3 trios, $60. It's going to get paid, so you don't have to worry about it.
There was something you and I was talking about. I remember I wanted to say this because I thought it was real important. We were talking about the pay cards, the money going on the pay card. We were laughing, and we were talking about transferring that money into your personal banking account so that you could clear that money off. Of course, there's a cap of $20,000 per pay card. Great goal for everybody to have, to max out that pay card. But you were saying the best way to do it is just go online,
Yep, to the Money Network. It's out in the back of everybody's pay card. You can just go to that website. It's also in support if you need to get more information. But you go in there, and they have a great website, and you're able to use it just like any other bank account. So if you want to transfer money to your current checking account where you pay by check, or with your package of the pay card information, there actually came checks in there that are free that you could use, and you could deposit that money in your current bank account. So I would just say, you could use your pay card to buy groceries, pay, for your gas, do whatever it is that you need to do with it. But if you want to make sure that you're covering your mortgage and you pay your mortgage out of your checking account, by all means, put the couple $100 or whatever it is that you have on your card into your normal bank account. So I would just, make sure that you're looking at the Money Network website and managing your money appropriately.
Are there a lot of fees for transferring those funds?
No, so to transfer the funds, I believe there are no fees to transfer the money. Now, if there's a list of the fees that also come with the
if I go to an ATM, I'm going to get charged.
Yeah, obviously. But you do want to use the card, because if you don't use the card for 6 months, there is a fee that they start charging. So you just want to make sure you use the card every once in a while.
So I have a reason that I need to tell myself I have to go spend this money.
Yes. We were talking about your son's braces. So
yeah, and that's the point. You guys are going to see a video as soon as they ask me, because they're going to ask me pretty soon. I think we've got a total now of $16,000 that's gone into my kids' teeth. And someone recently was talking about, they said, Staci, well, you're not realistic. You've got so many thousands of people, and I don't care who you are. Life costs. And these pay cards, for me personally, I do backflips when I got my fab, just because that money means something, and it should mean something. Kenny Rogers, I'm probably dating myself. People always used to ask me when I got on stage, do you get nervous when you get on stage? And I said, absolutely. And Kenny Rogers said something. He said, the day you stop getting nervous to go on stage is the day you're washed up. You just need to not go on stage. And the day that you don't appreciate a $650 bonus is a day that you've become too numb to really appreciate where the world is. And so for me right now, I'll just tell you guys, I'm hustling. I'm working my tail off, traveling all over the United States, because I got kids' dentist bills to pay off right now, and they're big ones too. So, okay, let's see where this takes us. All right, well, that's it for the Show Me the Money. We did want to talk about this weekend. I leave at 7 a.m. I know Ryan and others are already headed that direction, and the I Am Solavei tour is going to be in Cliffside Park, New Jersey. That's tomorrow. And Saturday, what you can expect is Friday night, there's going to be a live vision presentation with Ryan, our CEO and founder. And then Saturday, some of the top leaders in the company are going to be holding the massive action plan and compensation plan training with a Q&A. That's going to go from 9 a.m. to noon. So we really encourage you to go to imtour.solavei.com. Even if you're not going to be in the area, just the statistics of what people are doing who go to this, the sign-ups, the excitement, the energy. Try to get as many people as you can. You can go ahead and register. I think you've got a couple hours to pre-register still. It's going to close out tonight. But then, of course, people can show up. But we really like to pre-register so we can know who's going to be there. And, of course, anyone that wants to qualify for any of the awards that are given away, certainly you have to be pre-registered. Just want to invite you back out to our calls that we've got Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Be able to be a part of those, our Team Huddle webinar, our FAQ call, National Training Webinar. We're always looking at different calls and how we can continue to service our teams, be able to develop the resources, the tools that are going to help you be successful. And I hope that tonight has truly helped you. Certainly with the information that we've got there in the back office. Maria, it is always enlightening, always a joy. You are certainly a true asset to all of us. We really are grateful. And on behalf of the entire network, Rudy and Linda and all of the member support team, you guys definitely have the job of hearing everybody's issues and challenges, and yet you guys have a way of making us feel good about it.
Thank you, but we appreciate all your patience and guidance and feedback, and we take it very seriously and to heart. So thank you all for everything that you're doing, and for, oh my goodness, the list and all of the enrollments that you guys are just pulling forward. We appreciate you extremely. I can't even, words don't begin to say how much we love you all, so thank you.
real quick before we go, today we did a mastermind call with some top leaders, and one of the leaders got on the call, and I think this would be a great point of action for everyone. First off, I would ask everybody today, just as an action plan, takeaway, a stretch for you, is to go in, look at what we've talked about on tonight's webinar. Get to know your personal back office. Get to know your personal assistant. Just think about it. This is your secretary. She happens to be virtual. She's going to give you your billing statement. She's going to give you your account information. She's doing some accounting for you. All you need to do is make sure you are aware of what's going on. Make sure that you're going in there, taking a look at your personal network, your overall network. And then the advice that came today by Jose Miranda, who has over 5,000 people, he got on the call and he said, you know, I had an eye-opening experience in the fact that I've been looking at my overall numbers. And he said, you know, you get really excited when you look at those overall numbers growing and growing and growing. And he said, but I just thought to myself, what if this thing grew to where I was making that executive 3 path pay, which would be $20,000 a month?
Wow.
And he said, I don't have 30 personal network trios yet. And he said, if that's the case, and he's just a couple off, he said that would be a miss of $10,000 a month. So he laid out the gauntlet today on this team call, and he said, I encourage everyone, don't be looking at what is my team doing. Ask yourself, what am I doing to be prepared? It's almost a state of expectancy. If you really want to be executive 3, then behave like it today. Don't ask your team. And somebody said today, well, I just want to create a whole bunch of thousandaires. Well, that's awesome. That's my goal too. I want to create millions of thousandaires. I want to do everything I can to empower through webinars and tools and trainings. But what am I doing as a leader every single day to lead the pack? Who did I enroll today? How many phone calls did I make? How many emails did I send out? So all of you that are on this call, I encourage you, lead by example. Lay it out there for your team. Whether you've got 1 trio or 100 trios, lay it out there for your team. Show them what it's like to go get another trio. Remember that massive action plan says get a trio every week. And if you do that, you are going to lead your team with massive action. Again, thank you, Maria, for being a part of the webinar. We always enjoy it. So remember, now is the time. This is the place, and you are the ones to truly take this revolution and this movement to the world around you. We are believing the best for you. Good night, everyone.